All right, guys. So, chapter 10, we're coming up towards the end of the book. We only have 2 more chapters after this. So, chapter 10 is going to be setting up our payroll. Yay! If you have employees or you plan to have employees, make sure that you you don't have to. So the whole purpose of QuickBooks is to, if you're going to keep track of your employees, like if they're going to be clocking in, if they're a wage, if they're just a salary, you can report, however. But the one thing about QuickBooks is, they're not going to automatically calculate anything for payroll. Now, for my previous students who have calculated payroll with me, it's a pain in the butt. There's too many rules, and every individual has their own specific, different either deductions, or they have their own specific withdrawal with withholdings. Okay, so it is difficult, and then you have to also like multiply it by the tax bracket, all these things, XYZ, right? There was a long process to actually process payroll. Now, what Intuit does for you is they actually provide services, so it's an extra charge if you want to use their payroll services. Now, of course, you're able to do a third-party payroll services in case you don't want to go through Intuit. Intuit just makes it easier for you guys because you're entering all the data into QuickBooks, and it will just extract it and go ahead and proceed to go ahead and do the payroll service for you. However, the one that we're going to be looking at today will be a manual payroll system. So therefore, we have to personally calculate every individual's payroll system. And again, for those who will be going into my class, you guys are in for a treat. Okay, and also special announcement that the new 2020 payroll system is completely different. Okay. All right, so looking into this payroll setup, we're going to be looking on how to set up, obviously, your payroll system. Second thing is, yes?
Is there anything on the screen? Because I'm not seeing anything. I just see a black screen.
You are not presenting.
Yes, I am not presenting. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to make for sure I wasn't missing out.
Okay, can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, I can see your screen.
Perfect. Yay. Okay, so payroll system. Okay, so again, we are going to be going over how to set up the payroll system, and we're also, go ahead.
You're recording?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. So again, payroll system, we're going to be looking at how to set up those accounts. So when you are collecting, whether it's, payroll tax liability, so if you're paying into someone's Social Security, you need to have a separate account. So all the money that you are collecting will drop into a specific account. And then on top of that, you need to also itemize where each account should directly go to, okay? So that's creating payroll items. And then lastly, setting up your employees, okay? So that's the fun one, okay? And then also setting up defaults. So every time you enter a brand new employee, you don't need to set them up with like either the payroll system. It should, if you set it by default, it should be able to activate it for you, so you don't have to do extra work. And then lastly, reports. And then reports here, it's not as too important. I mean, all you're really doing is getting your contact list for your employees. Is probably the majority of it, and what you've paid and what you haven't paid for. So we might not be able to, I might have you guys just read that one. It's not as important. Okay. So here it's asking me to go ahead and open up this file, and I will go ahead and do that. So I want you guys to be able to see this, because what's going to happen is I want you to recognize this window when I open it. So here I'm going to go search for my file that I want to open up. So here it's going to be LVPTA, accounting, and then QuickBooks class. Portable files. And I believe this one is going to be PR setup. And then I'm going to click next. And I'm going to find a spot for it to save. Now, again, if you guys remember, if you cannot, let me start over. When you're trying to save your file, you definitely want to toggle it right here, because what happens is it's going to automatically take you to the C drive, where it will save it under the actual QuickBooks program files. Now, if you're not the admin of your computer or your laptop or whatever device that you're using, it will stop you there and say you need to have access. So for all purposes, make sure that you toggle the place that you are going to place the file, just because, again, if you're not the admin or you're not the owner of the computer, it will automatically save it into your C drive, which you can't, because you need the password to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and save it into QuickBooks class, portable files, and AM QuickBooks class. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wait till my file opens up. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have a few pop-ups, okay? In your book, it does tell you that you are using a temporary or whatchamacallit. You're using a temporary QuickBooks file that has had use of the payroll services that they offer to do the accounting, to do the work before you, to calculate the payroll. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that this is just a temporary file that has had access to the payroll services. But in our book, we are not going to be doing that. We're just going to be entering everything manually. Because again, you do have a few variety of choices. You can do it manually, but obviously it's not going to be accurate, just because you would have to be pulling all the information from either your employees, and you also need to pull up the times table. And the great thing about QuickBooks is you can pay the service, so it can do it for you, and that's a lot more of a headache, relief, versus having to calculate every single person's payroll payroll. Okay, so let me go ahead and click this. All right. All right, for some reason I didn't get that window. Okay, so when the one thing I was supposed to do, like when I was doing this, it's supposed to pop up a little window. I think it's in your book that says that this is just that you're you're supposed to get it's a temporary file. Okay, so yes. So if we go ahead and look at page 292, I want you to focus on this because this is very important on how to use to set up your payroll list. Okay, so clearly number one is the obvious. You need to go to your employees and you need to collect a couple things from them. You need to collect a W-4 form from them. Okay, so a W-4 form is going to be their tax withholdings. Okay, so their income tax withholdings list. So if they want to claim more money or want to, if they want to claim more money because they have children or if they're married. So what happens is if they're claiming more money, that means at the end of the year they need to, if they made too much money, they would have to pay back the government for taking out too much money. Okay, so you're gonna get taxed at the end of the year if you claim a lot of money. Now, what most often people do or is highly suggested or recommended is to claim 0-0. So at the end of the year, you don't have to ever pay your taxes. Now, one thing that obviously is kind of pretty obvious is that some people don't make as much money. So, if you have children or if you're married or if you're taking care of somebody, or just any reasons for you to take a withholding, then you can judge upon based on that kind of reasoning. So if I have 2 children and my paycheck isn't that big, then I would want to take my claimings because I need to support whoever I need to support. I need to support my children. So in this case, you have the option to submit a W-4 form, which allows you to state any claims as well as state any income tax withholding. So being able to claim a lot of money versus being taxed a lot of money. Okay, so that's very important. And the second thing that you need to have is every single detail about your employee. You need to have their name, you need to have their address, and most importantly, you need to have their social security number, because that is how we process the taxing, and that's how we process the federal income. What is it? Federal income. I don't know what the C stands for, but the FICA, which pays into your Social Security and your Medicare. So we need to use that Social Security number. So when while you're working, it's going towards that that little piece of information, right? So every year that you work, it goes towards your Social Security. Okay. So few informations on that. So that's the most important thing that you need to have. Second thing that you need to have as well is what do you offer your employees? Because if you're setting this up and you decide to just wing it and just say, I offer this and this and this, okay? I understand this is probably obvious, but by you offering all these benefits and all these deductions, you are paying for the benefits of having employees. So if you can afford it, then by all means, supply it. If you cannot afford it, then, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to make those executive decisions to either offer it or not. And this is where I'm going to let you guys get the opportunity to say yes or no to these options because, ultimately this is our company. So if you want to offer it, then offer it. If you don't, by all means. So again, coming up with some kind of form of plan and what kind of deductions or benefits you offer your employee. And then after that is going to be setting up your payroll system and make sure that you set up your taxes and whatnot. So all of this is going to be on page 292, okay? And it's exactly 10 steps. For chapter 10, there's 10 steps. For chapter 12, there's exactly 12. So keep that in mind, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with our payroll accounts. So again, we need to have accounts for us to be able to have a placeholder for all the money that we're going to be collecting. So again, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our chart of accounts. And we're going to be looking into our liabilities. Because most of the things that we're going to be collecting is going to be considered a liability. So here are my fixed assets. Here are my liabilities. Okay, so let's see. We have sales tax right here. Right here, other payroll liabilities, employee payroll taxes. Okay, right here, company payroll taxes. So again, when we pay for these payroll taxes and whatnot, these company taxes, again, we're taking money from either our employees' paychecks and paying it towards the government for having them, but also we have the possibility to match them. So again, that is not our money to have. That is money that we're placing in and that we owe the government for having employees. So of course, they're considered liabilities, and here we have these few things here. Okay, so we have a few liabilities weighing that we need to pay for each institute, whether it's a federal or whether it's state tax. Okay. Other thing that you're going to be looking at will be expenses. So you should be having payroll expenses. So for example, you can offer commissions expense, which in this case we do not have. But for most cases, you should have your payroll. See, like health insurance expense is going to be one of them. Anything that you offer as a benefit to your company. Now it says right here, meals and entertainment. Maybe I will offer that, maybe I won't. Payroll expenses. So here, payroll expenses is the main account. And under that, you have sub accounts. So you have your gross wages, you have your payroll tax expense, and your employee benefits expense. So again, when we set up our payroll setup or go through it, you may or may not actually be using these accounts. So again, if you don't offer these benefits, there's no point to have an account for those benefits. Okay. So, okay, so that's this. Okay. I'm gonna take a back a step because again, this is going to be manual payroll services instead of actual. So this is us actually physically calculating our payroll. So I want you to see what kind of options they have as far as payroll services. So you could go to employees, and then what you're going to be able to see is payroll services options. If you were to click this, you could either click learn about these payroll services. So once I click that, it's going to give me a list. Okay. So you have 3 options to choose what kind of payroll services. So again, Intuit, of course, paying for QuickBooks is one thing, but if you want to save some time, save some work as well, to calculate your payroll, then you can go ahead and select one of these services. Now, these services, again, if you link it together or you purchase it from Intuit itself, it will take every information that you entered into QuickBooks and be able to support and create and do the whole payroll services and calculate all the taxes for you with the most accurate information, right? Because they got professional payroll accountants that's actually processing your payroll for you. So in this case, you have three options. Okay, so you have basic, you have enhanced, and you have assisted. In your book, it is not considered assisted. It is actually called full service. Okay, so in my book, because I'm using 2019, um, uh, um, because I am using 2019, it will allow, so this is supposed to be full services, but in my book, it's assisted. So make sure that you guys know in 2018, your services will be called full services. Okay, so you're going to have the same thing, basic, enhanced, and full services. Okay, so if you want to know the details on each one, it gives you a little description of right here of what features they have. Again, but if you would like to know more about it, you can use this feature here where you can talk to an accountant and kind of see which one's best for you. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be based on how many employees you have and if you're a small business or, depending on how much you offer. I think that's going to be based on which one will work best for you. Okay, so here are the payroll services options. Okay, again, if you don't want to use Intuit, you can definitely go ahead and use third-party payroll services for that. So in case you want to pay a different person, maybe just pay the bank, and they'll be able to process the stuff for you. All you have to do is make sure that when you whenever you release your paychecks, make sure that you update your QuickBooks for that, so then you have the most accurate information again. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and click add to this since we don't need to look at it anymore and I can't close it. Okay, so again, now after looking at all those payroll services, now we're going to go back to our original lecture or this part of the lecture. So again, you need to create payroll accounts to have a placeholder for all the money to transfer in a specific category. Okay, and on top of that, it's also like how you can make your payments to pay off the liabilities that you have, and then the expenses that you have to pay for your employees. Okay. And then the next thing that we're going to be looking at is going to be payroll items, okay? So one thing that's most important that you need to recognize is if you're going to be doing, if you're going to have a payroll account, you need to itemize all the benefits and every single thing that you offer for it to have an association with the account that you have created. Now, for my best knowledge, I believe you guys actually have a separate payroll payroll item list. Okay, so here I have a separate payroll item list. Okay, it's not going to be combined with my actual list. Okay, so what this is basically this is the stuff that I offer to my employees. Either as a benefit or as a deduction. So again, I have Social Security that is required by the law, my federal withholdings, and I also have unemployment. So FUTA. The only one I don't see is state unemployment, which we actually do have in the state of Nevada. Okay. And it just depends on what your what kind of things that you offer, but in the state of Nevada, you do have the unemployment tax that you have to pay. Okay, so there are a few things that we have, and then other things could be like meals, and entertainment. Okay, that's a deduction. You can also have things like vacation pay, sick pay, anything that you want to do as a benefit to your company, or any deductions that you want to do. Maybe another deduction could be, you need to record mileages, so you pay for their fare, you pay for all their stuff. So that's considered a deduction to your part of your benefits. Okay, so here's just a list of all the things that we have as far as that. Now, when you do the payroll setup, these accounts can be created for you. Okay, but I believe in our book, you're supposed to have it set up first in order to be able to do the payroll setup. But I believe these are pre-made accounts that were made through the actual setup, because they list the things that you are supposed to offer. Okay, and let's go ahead and get started. Now there is exactly one way to be able to get to the payroll setup. Okay. So again, when we're looking here at the bottom of our window, we can see right here that this is our payroll setup. Okay, so if you do have the payroll service, it's going to pop up this little window right here that says turn on or turn off payroll. So this is when we actually have the service. This will show up. If you don't, then it's going to be just these three icons. Okay, so you can enter your time, and then you can pay your employee, and then you can pay your taxes. Okay, but because again, this is a sample file. This sample file contains a snippet of using the service, so that's why I have this little icon that says to turn on payroll. Okay, but in this case, I just want to make sure that you understand the flow of the transaction. You're going to enter the time, you're going to pay the employee, and you're then for whenever you set it up, you're going to pay for the payroll tax liabilities. Now, in this case, our only way to set up or do the employee setup is going to be under your employees list, and then right here in payroll setup. So I'm going to click that, and what's going to happen is it's going to open up this little this window. And this window is how you begin your payroll setup. Okay, so I'm going to maximize it. Actually, I actually don't like that. Let's just make it big enough. Okay, so again, if you look very carefully, you have all these sections right here you have all these little sections right here that can help you set up your payroll process, but also to set up your employees. So this is what we're going to be spending the rest of the day doing, is just completing this entire this entire payroll setup interview. Okay, so your book, and I also think that this is very similar to setting up your company file. You're just going to answer all the questions, and it's supposed to help you create your payroll process for you. Okay, this is the manual one. Okay, not the automatic one. This is for manual. This is for the manual payroll. Okay, but it also helps you set up your employees as well. Okay. So with this, we're gonna go ahead and start off right off the bat with our compensations. So here we're gonna go ahead and click continue. Okay. And I think my computer froze. Okay, there you go. So here are, we're going to get this little window here. And it's going to say, well, what are the things that you offer? Do you have people who are based on salary? Do you have people who are based on a hourly wage? And or do you have bonuses, any rewards or anything like that, or one-time compensation? So do you offer those things? Another thing that you can offer too is do you have tips that you need to put in there? Do you have any overtime, commissions, anything like that? And in this case, I'm going to say I don't offer benefits. I mean, I don't offer any bonuses or anything. Okay, no one gets a bonus in my company because what can you really get a bonus for? Okay,
Time?
say that again.
Can you get bonus for overtime? Like if you work 40 hours or over, would that be a bonus?
Overtime, sick pay, and all that stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
if I want to. Do you want to
Oh,
pay for
okay.
overtime?
But that would be a bonus, right?
No, overtime. No, overtime and all that. It's not a bonus. That's overtime.
Exactly.
See, time and a half or double time. That's by law.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bonus.
It's not a
And they
bonus.
ask you, do you want to include overtime in your payroll?
Oh, okay.
Okay. In this case, this right here is just a suggestion of what you want to. If I go ahead and click finish, it's going to populate it here on my window. Okay. And if I want to add any more, you can continue adding. If I want to delete or edit any of the information, then I can do that as well. Now, you said you wanted double time or overtime?
I was wondering if that was under that category.
Okay, yes. And Mr. Sanchez said no. And I agree because overtime is not a set amount. Okay. But what you can do is, let's say, if you can work this weekend, I can give you a boost in your salary or something like that. I can give you a bonus. Okay. But that is not actually doing, go ahead.
The bonus is actually, hey, I'm going to give extra money to the highest salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give a bonus to the most productive employee. It's only outside of your normal pay that you're going to give a bonus for.
Exactly.
But if you work an extra 5 hours this week, so you're working 45 hours, 60 hours this week, that's overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's salary.
Mm-hmm. So here it automatically showed me right here that I wanted overtime. Good. So I have salary, hourly. I also have double time and overtime. Now what I'm going to do is I don't want overtime. I mean, I don't want double time. I'd rather just do overtime. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this item because I don't want it. And it's going to give you an option, a window that says, are you sure you want to delete it? And I say, yes. I don't want to offer double time, but I will offer overtime. Okay? So hourly, overtime, and salary. Okay? So I'm going to offer those things. And then if you would like to add some other things, so let's say I have commissions, right? In this case, I don't want commission just because the people who are my photographers, they're independent contractors anyway. They're already getting paid. Okay, so the only thing that I can offer them is overtime. Actually, no. because these are our employees. They're not 1099 workers. We can't actually offer that to our 1099 workers. But for example, I have a person who is just running the front office that's answering phone calls. If for any reason she's being slammed, I can go ahead and pay her for overtime. But there's no purpose of giving her commissions because she's not the sales representative. She's not going out there and receiving or actually going out there and researching or finding people for our services. So I'm not going to offer commissions for that. Okay. But these are usually generally what you would normally see that is offered is usually hourly salary. And if you have overtime, most likely that is an option. And yes, so again, you can do that. All right, once I've established those three, and that's the only three that I want to do, I'm actually going to edit this information because I believe in my book, I have the option to edit the information. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to title it hourly regular, right? Because we can either offer for regular employees, or we can also have the option to have a part-time employee, right? If it's a part-time employee, then they could still clock in for those hours, but it's going to be for part-time. So you know what? Instead of this, I'm going to go ahead and save this. So once I've already edited the information, so I called it hourly regular. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay? And then I'm going to add a new one. Okay? Because I want to also be able to offer it for a part-time person. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select that option. I hope I'm able, okay, there you go. And I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to name this, so instead of so I have hourly regular, and I'm going to do hourly parentheses part-time, in case I have a part-time employee. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I look at this. Do it should be does, no? Do your hourly employees ever work overtime at no, because they're part-time, they're never going to work overtime. Okay. Do your hourly employees ever work overtime at a double? No, because we don't offer double time. We're not gonna offer them the choice to do overtime at all because they're part-time. You know, they might not have the capability to be able to work for us overtime. And I already have a full-time employee. So I mean, if I do the full-time employee, I can allow them to at least do overtime. But for a part-time, no. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click next, okay? And now I have an hourly part-time and an hourly regular, okay? Oh, I guess I should fix that too. So I'm going to edit this information because I didn't have a space in between the parentheses. So again, I'm going to fix that real quick, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay, so here, these are the four options I offer my pension, my compensations to my employees. And once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Now it's going to ask me to set up my employee benefits. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And then it's going to give me another window that's going to give me a list of all the benefits that I want to offer my employees. So right here, do I want to offer any benefits? So the first one is going to be do I want to do health insurance? Do I want to provide dental insurance? Do I want to provide vision insurance? Okay, so again, remember, every single time that we offer these benefits, it's going to take it directly out of each person's paycheck. Now, right now, my option is I do not offer any health insurance to my employees. Okay. Do I offer health savings? Do I offer do I offer any of these things? Do I do Medicare? Anything like that. I believe you can also set up your 401k if you have one. So what do you guys want? Do you guys want to offer insurance or no? Just keep in mind we are a small business. Maybe we might not be able to afford it right now. Okay, so I believe our book says, yes, we offer health insurance. Okay, and I'm going to be like, okay, that's all I offer, okay? I only offer that one thing. So I only offer them in case they were to, get injured. At least they're protected by our company's health insurance. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Or click Next. And then, so the next question is, how is health insurance paid? And the company pays for all of it, or do you want to have split payment between you and the employee, or do you want to pay? You're gonna say the employee pays for all of it. Now, most common that you will see is it's a split payment, as in it takes some portion out of your paycheck to go towards it, but and then the company would pay majority of it while you pay a deductible to it. Or there are some companies that actually pay for it 100%, and those employees are very lucky. Okay, but in this case, I'm gonna have both employee and the company pay for it. Okay, and the next question is the employee portion deducted before or after taxes are calculated? And I think for this one we want to do it before taxes are deducted. Payment is deducted before. Okay, so we're gonna take the money before. I can't remember if that's usually what happens, or is it taken after tax has been taken?
I think it's taken after, because then that way it's not included,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah, they don't take any taxes out, I don't think, of the medical part, the insurance.
okay. But in my case, I want to also help out my employer or my employee by saying I'm going to have it done before, so then they get their tax less, because if they have a less gross wage, they would get less taxes. So I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit there, is that I'm going to have it taken out before taxes, so they get taxed afterwards. Yes. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give them that benefit. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Next or Finish. Next. So then it's going to ask you a series of more questions on, well, first off, what is the payment schedule like for the health insurance? And I'm going to say, well, the payee or the vendor. I don't even know if I even have an insurance company in here. I'm going to go ahead, medical. I think I might be able to create one. I'm going to say Blue Cross. I don't know. Or is it Blue? No, I'm going to do Blue Cross because that doesn't exist. Blue Shield is it, I believe. An account number, I'm going to just make up one.
This insurance company or your 401k bank or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to add it to your vendor list, right? You're going to type it in there. It's going to say, do you want to quick add or setup
Mm-hmm.
to the vendor list? So it's going to, once you put your company in there,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to add to your vendor list.
Okay.
All right. So no, it may not exist now, but it will exist once you use it.
Yes. Okay. Payments, I think payment frequencies. I'm going to do it every, let me see. If I'm going to do I'm going to do mine every month. Okay. Just because, usually insurance, is collected every month, but if you're doing a bi-weekly payment, so that means they're going to be paying into it at least twice. They're paying into it twice a week, but I'm paying it once a month. So it's going to ask you, well, what day do you want to pay? I'm going to pay on the first of every day. Okay? So the first day of the month. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. Okay? And then here I go back to my window saying I offer health insurance here for compensations and for pre-tax. Okay, so I'm going to have them take out the tax. I'm going to have them take it out before they get taxed. Okay, so once I've set that up for them, I've already set up the actual company, which is Blue Cross. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed, because that is all the benefits I'm offering for them. Now, you can set up a 401k, but because I'm a small company, I'm not going to, because I can't afford it. So I'm going to say no to 401k for today. But if you want to, you can read it up. It's pretty much the same thing, same setup. So it's pretty easy. But no, I don't offer a 401k because I am just too small of a company. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. So next we're going to be moving on to our retirement plans. So this is where we set up our 401k. Or if you want to, you can set up an IRA. An IRA is a retirement account. Okay. Okay, so this is, you can have a 401k plan. You can set up an IRA account. You can set up a 403b account. So you have pretty much a lot of these options. Now, if you actually, I don't know, I've never actually heard of these ones before. This 4080C account, I've never heard of that. So you should definitely look at all these options and actually research them and see if they actually benefit you as a company. Now, I don't offer any of these, so I'm just going to leave it saying I don't offer it. And again, just read your book and it gives you a detailed step on how to do it. But in this case, yeah, make sure that before you even offer these benefits and plans for your employees, that you actually do your research, because each retirement plan that you normally would do can they're not all the same. They're a little different in how you contribute to it and how individuals contribute to it. So yeah, if you are a corporation, another retirement plan that you can have is a stock option. So usually they can offer that as well. Okay, but in this case, retirement item, I got none because I don't offer 401k or anything, and I'm not a corporation, so I don't offer any stock options for this employee. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Then the next portion is going to be paid time off. Okay, so this is where you can offer either sick pay, vacation pay, or any of those PTOs, so pay time off. If you want it, okay. Well, actually, PTO can be two things, right? It could be paid time off or personal time off. So you might be able to get paid time off, or you might not be able to. And in this case, you know what? I'll be nice and I will pay for sick time, but I'm not going to pay for vacation time. No, that's your own personal time. And if you're going to go take a vacation when I need you, no, I'm not going to pay you for that. But I will pay for the days that you are sick. Okay. My employees do not get paid time off. Now, you can have this option, right? You don't have to offer it if it's not necessary, unless you can afford them to pay with the time off. And I'm going to say, yes, I will do it if they're sick. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. So then it's going to populate it right here on what I can do. So I can do hourly sick. So if they're sick and they're claiming hourly wages, I can also provide that. And if they're sick and their salary, then I can go ahead and provide that. Now, I think for my employees who are hourly wage, I don't think they should have that. Just because it's only fair for those who are salary, who aren't supposed to be paid on a rate, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna actually edit this information. Okay, I kind of changed my mind again. So this is why when you do a payroll, you definitely want to make sure that you explore all the options and understand what options you have. Okay. If they are a part-time, I am not going to offer them sick time off. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I indicate right here that they have to be an hourly regular in order to claim this sick time off. Okay, so for my part-time, they're going to get absolutely nothing. Okay, they're going to get nothing from me, because they're only a part-time employee. But for my full-time employees, I'm going to offer the option to have them get sick pay. And obviously, my salary workers, they get to have their sick time pay off as well. Okay? So again, with this, you can have other benefits such as vacation pay, personal time off. They can get paid for that. So anything like that, you can go ahead and put them as a paid time off. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click continue. So now the next is going to be miscellaneous deductions, any other deductions. So again, if we looked at our chart of accounts, we have meals and entertainment that we can use that to deduct on. We can also do cash advance that can take more money away from you, or things like that. Anything that's taxable, attachable fringe benefits. So again, let's say I pay for travel, I pay for this. It's a deduction to you. Okay. Anything that we offer to pay is going to be applied. Okay, so Glennis is here. Hello, Glennis. Okay, So again, so then again, make sure that you know the difference between that. This is additional deductions. So again, meals or entertainment, right? If we give you a fringe benefit, which means, let's say we offer you, since we're a photographer service-based organization, I can say I can get you premiere tickets to a movie. So so I can get you tickets for that, and I pay for that. So that's considered a fringe benefit from you. And what you're actually doing is you're paying a small portion into your organization, so then you can reap those benefits that you can have. Okay. So again, that's a fringe benefit to you. Okay. Other fringe benefits could be like, oh, I have season tickets for any sports event that you can go to. Any major entertainment, sports. Maybe I offer, tickets to Disneyland, for a lower price. That's considered a fringe benefit to you. Okay. And in this case, I am not going to have any fringe benefits for them. I'm not going to allow them a cash advance. I mean, no, I'm not going to allow cash advance. That's too much for me. And other deductions would be any wage garnishments, okay? And I say no, I do not offer any other deductions. So, and I think your book also says that you have none as well. So go ahead and press the next button, and then we are done with setting up your employees' compensation section, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. So now we completed the first two sections in our payroll setup. Now the next section that we're going to be looking at is going to be our employee setup. So this is where we're going to need our employees' information, such as their, all their information, including their social security. And all that paper, all that information should be found on your W-4 form, okay? So you don't have to actually call them and be like, hey, I need this information from you. It should all be written down and submitted to you via W-4 form. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And then now it says, well, let's go ahead and see how many employees you have. And here I get a small window that allows me to enter in my first employee. Okay, so I have a legal name. So the legal name is going to be whatever is written on their social security card. Okay, make sure that you are aware of this. Okay, if you want to have a preferred name or a nickname, you're able to do that. You're able to do that when you I'm sorry. You're able to do that. So for example, my name is not actually Lynn, it's actually Eileen. But it's just easier for people to say, just call me Lynn. Okay? So that's an example that if I want to have a nickname or any something that I'd be preferred to call, unfortunately that'd be put in the notes in your employee section. But in this case, you know how we could do, custom fields, you could do that there. But in this case, when we're filling out this employee information, it has to be identical to whatever it says in your social security, because this is where we're pulling up information based on your social security number, and it has to match name for name. Okay, and then on top of that, it also has to match the check that's being written to you, because if I were to write my employee's nickname in there, you can for surely get denied when you set your payments, okay? Because it's not the exact name of that person. So make sure that you understand that. Good morning, Nora. Okay, so, all right. So in our book, who do we have? I believe we have a Miss Katie Reynolds. Okay. Okay. Is she active? Yes, she is an active employee. Contact information. Where does she live? Okay, let's go ahead and look in her book for this information. So we've already skipped through this.
I think it's page 304.
Page 304. Okay, so I have to keep going to okay, so 98, 99, 300, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Katie Reynolds. Okay, so Katie Reynolds, okay, she's active. Things that we need to fill out for her information is 432. I have no idea. Is this Enos Lane? Enos Lane, California. In Danville, California, 94501. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that information out. So I have her live on 432 Enos Lane. City is Danville. And it's going to be State of California. And I think it was 94501. 94501. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. Okay. So what kind of status is she? Is she a regular employee?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, she's a regular employee. Okay. Next question it's going to ask is other billing information. Okay. So we need her social security number. I'm just going to make this one up. Okay. Other thing, hire date. So this is very important. If you need to have this, so then what QuickBooks can do is it can match up of exactly when they started and what they're supposed to be being paid for. And in this case, I think this person has been here since 2018, I believe. Let's see. They've been here since April 1st of 2008. Wow. That person has been in the company for so long. So here, what is it, month? 4/1/2008. Okay. Release date. Okay, you only enter this in if you're planning to fire them. But we're not. So again, does she have a birth date that we can put in? And it says her birthday is January 31st, 1972. So January 31st, 1972. Okay? This is to make sure that this person is old enough to work for you, not just so that we can celebrate their birthday. Okay? Because it is by law that they have to be 18 years, or is it 16 and older now? And she's a female. Okay? Now there is only two options. Unfortunately, there is no other. So for those who are gender neutral, or you're going to have to actually select between the two. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. Okay, so here it's going to ask me, well, what kind of pay rate am I going to pay her? I believe she's salary, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So my book, it looks a lot different from this window. Mine actually gives you, oopsie, sorry. Mine actually gives you the options to select which one she is and then asks those questions. So here, how often do I want to pay her? Again, so if you're going to select which one your payroll period is, okay, so you can either do as needed, so it could be every day, weekly payments, bi-weekly payments, twice a month, which is called semi-monthly. You could do monthly, or you could do every 3 months, which is a quarterly, okay? And then once a year, okay? So that's your salary rate, okay? So make sure you don't get confused that if you're going to take a chunk of money at the end of the year, that's what an annual payment is. But in today's society, that is probably almost impossible to survive off of one paycheck a whole year. So oftentimes what happens with salary people is they get paid every pay period as well as with their regular employees. So because I'm going to have her be a salary-based person, I'm going to make sure that she gets paid every other week. So my payment period is going to be bi-weekly. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and select she's a salary. Okay, and then we need to enter the amount that she makes per year. And in this case, how much is it? Is it 20,000, or let's see what number it is. She's going to get paid 60. Dang. Okay, so she's going to get 60, 1, 2, 3,000. Oopsies. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to get 60,000 a year. Okay, so again, this window looks a lot different than the window that you have, but they essentially answer the same exact questions. Okay, so at the top, you're going to toggle that. Instead of having options, you're going to actually, same thing, you just check mark it, and then you enter in how much she's going to get paid for. Okay, so, okay, now that I've already figured that information, I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then it's going to ask me, do you offer her health insurance? Yes, I do. Completely paid. No, I'm going to have her get it pre-taxed out. And I think I select this one as too because the company does pay. Because we're doing split payment. Okay, and it's going to ask you how much is each one going to get paid. I'm going to have my employee pay $100 out of their paycheck, while I pay what is health insurance nowadays? It's about $500, right? So I will pay $400, while she pays only the $100 for insurance. And I'm going to say, okay. So that means she only pays $100 and I pay the remaining $400 for her health insurance. All right, then I'm here and I'm going to be looking at calculations. So again, how much does she earn on an hourly basis? But how many hours per year? Does anybody know what the average salary person works per year? I don't know if I'm supposed to answer this. let me see. She's gonna get, she earns 80 hours per year. Okay. And then other things is I have an actual limit, and it's going to be 20. Okay. All right. I guess she's going to earn 80 hours per year. 80 hours per year. And there is there a set amount of time increase with so you do have options on how to pay for the sick pay in case she needs to pay for sick for if she doesn't use it, does she get the money for that? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna choose pay an accrual limit, an actual limit, and then maximum hours that she can pay. She can get sick for sick pay. Let me see how many. I'm gonna allow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna allow. What? Let me see. 8 times 3. 8 times 5 is 40. I'm gonna allow 40 hours that she can claim sick. Okay, and then the next one is earns any time off currently. I only have 2 options. No time off until, no, actually yes. I'm gonna say no time off until she has actually starts. So I get to choose when she can actually start claiming her sick hours. Now she's been in her company for 10 years now, so she could have claimed it. She could have claimed it. Maybe she could have claimed it a year into the business. So a year after, so she could start claiming it now since she's been working in her business for quite some time. And then lastly, hours available as of this. This is just so you can do your opening balance. I'm just going to leave that blank because I don't want to report her hours just yet. So here, this is going to be pay Katie Reynolds by, you want to either do direct deposit, so that's where you have to set it up. But in this case, I'm not going to set up a direct deposit. I'm just going to write her a check. Okay. So, yes, so if I were to select that, I'm going to direct deposit to her. I have to have her account information, so then I'd be able to set that up. But in this case, I don't have that for Katie. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay. Then the next section is going to ask you about any state unemployment taxes that we have to charge her for. And let me see. And then how many withholdings she has. Okay, so in the state of California, since we're dealing, this company is in California, so I'm going to say she belongs to the state of California. And for this one, state subject to unemployment, there should be state unemployment tax, I believe. And I believe they told us to write 3.4%. if I'm not mistaken, but in this case, it doesn't give me the option to enter that information in. Okay, and then it says, while working for you in 2020, did Katie Reynolds live or work in another state? No. She's not an out-of-state employee, okay? So what that really entails is like, are they going to get taxed, the state tax, or are they going to get taxed for out-of-state? So it's if I was still living in California, I would pay California tax even though I'm working in Nevada. So make sure that you understand how those laws work when you're dealing with out-of-state employees. Okay? So now that I've done this, I'm come back to my window here, and this is going to ask me for some of the information on the employees form, W-4 form. So this is when they have to file it for you, and if they don't file you have the capability to charge them the highest percentage, which is going to be for 0 withholdings and 0 claimings. So in this one, she's going to be single, and she has 0 allowances, so no children, no nothing. She has extra withholdings. No, she has 0. Okay, and then does not apply, and no, it's not qualified for any of those things. Okay, so all of these things are going to be found on your W-4 form, and then we can go ahead and click continue. Okay, so here we have another form. California. Okay, so this is where we get to enter in estimated deductions, regular withholdings. Does she have any allowances? No. Wait, I thought I entered all this information already. Did I accidentally click 0? Estimated deductions, 0. And extra withholdings, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. Okay, and then it gives me this question here. Okay, is this employee subject to any special local taxes not shown? And let's see, is she subject to California unemployment training tax? Yes. Is she subject to disability? Yes. Okay. Is this employee subject to any special local ones? I'm gonna say no because she's a regular employee. There's nothing. She's not a special case. So I'm gonna go ahead and say next. And then now it's going to ask me wage plan code. I believe she is is it S or U? Or let's see what it says in the book. Okay, so yes, she is an S for both sections. Oopsies, I'm so sorry. I keep doing that. So she's an S for both sections. So she's a state plan for both UI. Okay, so unemployment and disability insurance. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click next, and that's how long it takes to set up an employee. Okay, and you yes, all right. So the next couple sections, now that we finished that one, we'll be dealing with our taxes. So I'm going to go ahead and call a break right now. It is 10 o'clock. So if I were to click continue, I'll get to this new window where we start doing our taxes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here real quick and call a break. Since it is 10 o'clock, I